I'm Adam Goldfein from News Talk WSB, and I'm here at Performance Auto Collision. It's important for you to know that if you are unfortunately involved in an auto accident or somebody you love is involved in an auto accident, that there is one place that I would truly recommend that you bring your vehicle. I mean, for example, take a look here. God forbid you're driving this Kia, or you're driving the Honda, or you're driving one of the other vehicles that have been involved in a serious wreck, and you say, well, where do I bring the car? Where can I be sure that they're not only going to fix it right, but they're going to make sure that they use the right parts, the right equipment, that is done safely to put my family back in the vehicle, and the finish is such that I'll be seriously happy with the quality of repair. So good that nobody will even be able to tell it was repaired. And that's one of the reasons that I really recommend Performance Auto Collision. A lot of people, when they come and they're involved in a wreck, and you see something as serious as this, all of a sudden then they realize that, you know, thank God this had original equipment parts because it saved the occupants. If you had some sort of, tin that was protecting you when a 3,000 or 4,000 pound truck comes barreling down behind you, that's when you realize how important it is that the structural integrity, the quality, the fit, and the finish truly matter. And I'll give you an example. There are a lot of body shops that will use different quality parts. There are all sorts of parts and tricks in the industry. You have the original equipment parts that manufacturers use when they build your car. That's the best. That's truly what you should be looking for. Then there are those that want to sell you what are called like-kind quality. What is that? It's junk parts. Or you might find remanufactured parts, parts that have been salvaged and they're trying to pass them off as if they're okay. Or aftermarket parts, which might be the worst at all. These are just stamped out in some faraway country factory. They sort of look like the right part, but they won't fit, they won't finish. And here's what's very important. They've never been tested for structural integrity to know that they'll stand up, God forbid you're involved in another accident. I'll tell you what I want to do. Come with me, I'll show you an example of the difference between an original equipment part and something that is seriously junk that you should avoid, that some other body shops are going to be trying to put on your vehicle. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. This is a Nissan Infiniti G35, was involved in a front end crash. Now, if you bring your car to a body shop, let's just say you're picking any body shop out there, the insurance company, your insurance company, is going to try to get off the hook as cheap as possible. They're going to tell you, don't worry about it, we fixed your car. Now, to the outside eye, or the untrained eye, what do you know? The car comes back, it's white, it's painted, everything looks good. But what you don't know is how they're trying to save money. And here's a great example. This particular G35, think of this luxury car. It had the fender replaced, right? Now what you don't know is this is an aftermarket fender. It's not the same type of fender that would have been put on when they were building this car. That is called an OEM filter, original equipment manufactured fender. Now I'm going to prove something to you just so you can see it. See this fender? Take a look over here. Here's the box of this fender. Yi Sheng. Now, you want to see something cool? That's where this fender comes from. In the trade, they call it Taiwanese tin is what it's called, because they don't really even know how it's made, whether it's going to stand up to a crash, how it's going to fit in the finish. And I'll tell you, if you want to see fit and finish, take a look down here, and I'm going to show you with my finger, and you'll be able to pick it up real quick. First off, the fender doesn't fit. It actually sits higher than the hood. How would you like to come out your car and it doesn't even fit? Then watch the gap as this fender. It starts to get wider and wider and wider and wider as you come all the way to the end. Now this doesn't fit. Look at the size of the gap between the fender and the pillar. Look at the size of the gap between the fender and the door. Now you say, okay, well isn't that the same on the car? No, no, no. Go over to the other side and see the undamaged original equipment part, and you'll see that you can roll a ball bearing up that seam, and it is the same all the way through the top, all the way here. The part was made for this car. It's been structurally checked. That way when you know your family is in the vehicle, if God forbid you're in a crash, you're safe. You know the fit and finish is perfect. You know that the look of it from the paint standpoint is going to match. It's all going to look good. But if you're really uneducated and you don't know, the insurance company may try to pass something along and you really weren't at the advantage of knowing. Now the challenge that you have and this is important for you to know, is if you have an inferior repair, not only is your family less safe, not only will it not fit and finish like you're expecting it to, but your vehicle is significantly worth less money. Think about it. If you were out there trading in this car to a dealership, or you were trying to sell it and somebody realizes, wait a minute, the fenders don't align. How bad was the accident? You're going to lose significant dollars in what's referred to as diminished value. So it's important for you to understand that there is a big difference between the types of parts that are used, the fit, the finish, the repairs, the paintwork, everything that's done to a vehicle, and who in fact fixes your car. All right, so let me show you something just so you have a comparison. We've already seen how the aftermarket part doesn't fit. Stuff made in Taiwan, you have no idea it's on your car, doesn't fit your car right, doesn't look right, isn't safe. Now for comparison, I got the folks here at Performance Auto Collision to pull out an original equipment fender from Nissan. They're going to replace the aftermarket part with the original fender and show you how the fit and finish is so much tighter. We now have the original equipment part on the very same car. Take a look at just the fit. We're not even talking the structural integrity, the safety of your family, just the fit and finish. Look at this, the difference, how tight the seam is. All the way through, the seam is completely consistent. The other one was the Grand Canyon. You could have driven a truck through the seam. This one, like it was made for the car. The reason is, it was made for the car. It's an original equipment part. So we've already talked about the quality of the parts that you make sure are installed on your vehicle when you get into an accident. And by the way, just so you know, here are a couple of body shop bills. You're going to be presented with one of these, and in fact, when you are given the bill, it will say on the bill, as you can see right here, non-OEM. Now this particular invoice, this individual was offered non-OEM parts from the insurance carrier. The total of the bill, true deal here, right? So this person says, the insurance carrier says, all right, you have to do it. The total of the bill was $1,892 using, as we've already seen, Taiwan tin. They were trying to pass it along. Now, Performance Auto Collision, by the way, did an appraisal of that very same vehicle using original equipment parts, making sure it was the right fit, the finish, the safety. And take a look, by the way, of the cost. $1,833. It was actually less money to use the original equipment parts. So why would you settle for inferior product if it isn't necessary? Now, parts are only one part. You also want to make sure that the certification from the body shop is there, that the manufacturer certified them, that all the mechanical repair is going to be done right, that any frame repair is going to be back to manufacturer specifications, and then let's not forget the paint. There are different paints that different body shops use. There are inferior, cheap, low quality paints that they could be trying to spray onto your vehicle, and then you find those, you know, shade tree mechanics that may even want to do it, God forbid, by painting outside, which not only is a violation of environmental laws, but will give you a horrible finish. You should be looking for something with equipment such as this, with a downdraft booth. In fact, come on inside. This is a sterile environment. This is sucking all the air down these vents where it's filtered. The whole idea is you get a true picture of lighting inside here. You can paint multiple colors. You make sure there's no dust, there's no debris. When the finish is done on your vehicle, it's going to look like showroom quality, like the day you picked it up. That way, when the panels are blended, everything looks right. It's going to be a repair with quality that's so good, you'll never be able to tell the vehicle was truly repaired. So there's only one place you should be bringing your automobile if you're involved in a wreck, and that's Performance Auto Collision. Now look, the insurance companies are going to try to send you to the place that's the cheapest because they're trying to save money. But you're going to be the one that suffers because you may not get original equipment parts when you have your vehicle repaired. The fit and the finish may not be right. And then let's not forget, most importantly, your family. The structural integrity of the automobile could be compromised if you're not using original equipment parts. And then you want the repair to be done right. You want the fit and the paint and the finish to be so good that the repair is actually invisible. You don't want anyone to know the car was ever fixed. Now, if you're as picky as I am with your family's vehicles and you want to make sure that they're safe and the car is done right, then make sure to bring your vehicle to Performance Auto Collision. They're up here in Alpharetta on Hembry Road. If you know where the spinning Porsche is, you definitely know where they are. They are the #1 choice of people inside the industry of where they'd have their vehicle fixed and repaired in the event of an accident. Performance Auto Collision.